Okay, we're going to move on and we're going to talk about our review of the week. This one does not fall into the worst movies ever category.
I mean, they
And
tried.
they tried. And this one is called The Hunt. This one was originally supposed to release in September of 2019 and was delayed until March 13th of 2020 and is now available for rent on Google Play, iTunes, and I believe Amazon Prime. It's a $20 rental, but I think that's just so people can start trying to make their money back. There's a few other movies on there, like what was that one, The Invisible Man, that are available as well. And I saw this one at the theaters, and Jeremy did not. What did you think, Jeremy? What just a basic feeling so far before we dive into this?
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would going into it. I was expecting a much more explicit political message. I thought it would be like, sometimes a song is just so heavily political that they gave up trying to write any good music to it. That's what I was expecting for this.
Sure.
But no, they kind of take an idea of the times and just write a movie around it. And I didn't really get the feeling that they had a strong opinion on what you should believe at the end of it.
No, it seemed like their strong opinion was that anyone can be made fun of, and I really enjoyed that because
Yeah.
that's what comedy is. This is one of those movies. There was a movie called The Strangers back in the day that was like a really creepy version of this. It
hmm
was it was more, based in a house, but I'd got no sense of like unease during this movie. It was mostly just, oh, someone just got shot in the face. That's pretty funny because of the tone that they put out. Like the trailer and as well as the start of the movie, you're just like, oh, this is weird. People are getting murdered, but I don't feel anything for them. I don't know.
But enough about you watching the news.
The news.
Yeah,
Oh God.
watching people get.
Let's move on from there. And the so it's about 12 strangers wake up in a clearing. They don't know where they are or how they got there. They don't know they've been chosen for a very specific purpose, and that is per IMDb. So this one stars Betty Gilpin and Hilary Swank. There's a few other people I know, like Dennis Reynolds is in there from Always Sunny, and Frank the Body Gibbiotti from The League. A few other people. Who was the lady right in the beginning, like the first one you see that wakes up with the yoga pants there? What the hell is her name? I don't
I
even
don't
see her.
remember.
She was like the blonde. I thought she was going to be the main character, even though I'd seen the trailer, and we'll get into that. So
Yeah, they definitely Game of Thrones to the first 10 minutes.
yes, so that we wake up with the girl. I think I don't know her name. I'm just going to move past it, and it's
That weird
following her
like
along.
dog bone gag or whatever.
Yeah, and there's just this whole like as you start to see other people and they've all got like the thing in their mouth to, protect them from biting people, I suppose. And there's like a giant crate in the opening filled with guns. So as they're all going in there to, well, they don't know it's filled with guns, but they find it out. They unlock each other and the game is on because what? 14 seconds later, the girl that you think is the main character gets shot in the face from the distance.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then you think the guy that she was talking to, you're like, oh, he's definitely the main character now. He's definitely not the main character. And it just kind of went on like that until, there's all these like traps and things that they got these people in, and one of the girls is trying to run away and she just falls into a pit of spikes. It's like, yeah, this is very Vietnam War, I feel like.
It seemed like a really weird spoof on the Hunger Games to me.
Yeah, the Hunger Games, except they're not killing each other, right?
Yeah. Although I did in that clearing I did enjoy. They don't show the guy getting two fully automatic guns, but the guy just goes running through the clearing with two guns, just shooting and screaming.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
thought, if I had that many guns, I'd want to try that at least once.
Yeah.
One thing that always kind of gets my attention in movies is how much effort do they put into the exposition world building?
Uh-huh.
And these guys just pointed a camera at a cell phone and texted each other the opening exposition. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I respect them just saying, you know what, let's just text it to me and I'll take a picture of it for our opening, or if I think it's really, or if I think it's just really, really, really bad. Like I thought this is literally worse than like the old Batman TV show where the exposition is a newspaper flies in the screen. But the exposition 911 phone call that followed it right up, I was really bored into that. I was like, what are we doing? Just a 911. You're on the phone call. Like
Yeah.
they're in the gas station, and the guy calls 911 and basically explains the plot of the movie to the 911 operator without
Yep.
ever actually trying to tell the guy where they are.
Right. Because technically they don't know. The two older people are like, you're in Arkansas, I believe they say.
Yeah, well,
And
they tell him what road they're on.
oh
But
yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't. But you need a mile marker for stuff like this. Like this, when you call 911, they ask you for a mile marker or how far you are from XYZ place.
Yeah. Especially in the cuts.
I'm pretty sure
And
in Arkansas that you just tell them I'm about an hour outside of Yesterville.
outside of the first gas station.
Yeah.
Um
I'm
the
past the dog.
he did say, I don't know where I am, just trace the call. So I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I guess that's okay. But just that whole phone call, I was like, what? This is the worst exposition.
yeah.
And
And
I thought it just kind of dragged the whole what I thought was a really good scene otherwise just to a grinding halt right in the middle of it.
sure.
Like they had this really good scene and said, we need some more exposition. Don't worry, I'll go back in and record some. We'll just jam it in there.
Yeah,
We don't want to
I
reshoot
see
anything
it.
else around it. Nah.
No, it's but that whole scene was pretty entertaining because especially if you didn't see the trailer, because you kind of know what's coming next because of it, and you think these little old lady and old man are there to help, and they're not. They're there to murder you. They poisoned all of the food in the gas station, and the first lady just starts eating something and goes down. I believe they shoot the guy and oh, they let gas loose, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, yeah. They let gas loose and I think they do shoot the guy from Orlando maybe or
Yeah, yeah. And so essentially they just pile the bodies in the back and our new main character, we forgot to mention that we
oh
think these are main
but but
characters.
but we are skipping some of the setup, which
Sure.
was this. Looking back on it now, this was the first hint as to what's really going on because when the conservatives are being choked with gas, the gas station people finish what I think was a Twitter argument.
Hmm.
And for the record, global warming is real.
Yeah, there was one thing that the little old lady said. She's like, why do you own so many guns? And he's like, well, I protect myself. She's like, well, isn't that just what the people who are hunting you are doing? It's like, no.
No.
It was really odd, but I could see where she was going from there. But
I have a line written here, and I don't remember what the context of it was, but
uh
someone said he probably uses the N word.
I
Like
think it was the old lady that said it. Yeah.
they were justifying someone that got killed.
Oh, that's what it was because the main guy there, the one from New York, and I don't think he's a conservative because you're not allowed to be in New York. It's against the rules.
No,
He's
if,
from.
if you're rich enough, you can be a conservative in New York.
Oh, okay. Oh.
They call them Democrats there.
Yeah, so he's from Staten Island, and after they kill him, it's like, oh, he has a wedding ring on. That's what it was. And they're like, he probably used the N word anyways.
And then the husband starts drinking a soda, and his wife's like, "Stop! That's poison!" And he spits it out. He's like, "You
Yeah,
poisoned the soda? No, it's got 23 grams of sugar per bottle."
yeah,
That was
that's pretty good.
genuinely funny.
Yeah, and our new character walks up, and it's Betty Gilpin's character. I forget her name in the movie already, but
Crystal?
oh yeah, yeah, and I don't even think you know her name at this point in the movie, anyways.
Yeah, they'd call
And
her Snowball or Snowflake.
yeah,
The
oh
the pig from Animal Farm is where the name comes from, into the movie.
yeah, and she's a very quiet, very stoic character, and she comes up, she's just trying to figure out what's going on, and she orders a pack of cigarettes, and I guess it was her plot to figure out, you know, where she was. Apparently, she has this knowledge of what is it? How much
Cigarette prices in
cigarettes
Arkansas.
cost? Which I
In a
thought
gas station where, I mean, I think the first clue would be that there's no prices on the cigarettes.
yeah,
I don't think cigarette prices are set at the state level.
yeah. Imagine they actually were in Arkansas, and she shoots them in the face because they have the wrong prices. It's like they're a privately owned business; they can charge whatever they want.
It's just like she didn't know about the county tax.
That's the part that I think would have been better if they told her what the tax was, and since she lives in Arkansas, she knows what the state tax is. So I think that would have made more sense.
Yeah, that
But
would have been way less cool, though.
yeah, I suppose. And she, yeah, she pulls out glasses. She's like, "Well, actually, in this county in Arkansas, no." But
She looks at
she
the
ends up
receipt. She's like, "Oh man."
murdering the two old people, and it's great. And then pops her top off, which I'm really excited about at this point.
Just for clarity, she removes her jacket.
Yeah,
And
but I mean,
we're not even at like beach wear. Yeah, it's just there's some midriff and the evidence of I think it's called red beans. I don't know.
never heard of that. But anyways, she I'll take what I can get. So so now she knows something's up, right? Obviously. And she goes outside to kind of just get a lay of the land, cuz I mean, imagine you were in this situation where you're stranded, and you come up on a gas station where you think is a safe haven, and they're also murderers, and you literally have no idea where you could possibly be. Except I think she kind of calculated where she could be based on how long she was out
How
later in
did
the
she know how
movie.
long she was out?
I don't know, because she's
I don't know
Betty
about you,
Gil-
but I don't wake up knowing how long I've been asleep.
No,
Based on my leg hairs, I can tell I've been asleep.
I wake up not knowing what day it is sometimes. It's like, ugh. And yeah, so she goes outside, and she sees a little tripwire over the truck that she was going to steal. And
Which, given how good they are at other stuff in this show, they really should be a bit more competent at like not running the wire to an explosive from the door handle
yeah,
to the hubcap.
I mean, to be fair, my ass would have gotten blown up. I wouldn't have seen that.
You don't think you would notice fishing line tied to your car?
No, especially your adrenaline's pumping. You're trying to get the hell out of there. I would have been like, I would have ran to the car door and popped it open. You know, it's like,
I think I don't know. I mean, if she's paranoid enough not to eat the food from a gas station,
uh-huh.
even though she woke up after a 16-hour slumber, I'm pretty sure you're hungry when you've been asleep for 16 hours.
Yeah.
She didn't eat anything or drink anything.
Yeah, but that's her. That they didn't expect her to be a thing. And now think about if it was you would have eaten the poison. I would have eaten the poison.
Assuming I'm not a poison detecting badass.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you could detect poison, you still would have gotten blown up. We would have needed your poison detection skills and my bomb recovery skills in order to get through this situation.
For those keeping track, Dan has just confessed to knowing how to build a bomb,
No, to defuse one,
which is building a bomb
which is
backwards.
just in reverse. Yeah. Yeah, but you're a poisoner, so we're even.
No, I detect poison. That's very
Oh,
different.
that's true. Which is just
Dogs that can
poisoning
detect
in
poisons don't know
reverse.
how to make it, do they?
I think they do. I don't trust dogs.
There's chemist, there's chemist police dogs at
Bastards.
the airport. I get the air. I'm not going to make a PhD joke.
Yeah. So one other thing we're definitely saying is that Betty Gilpin is both Jeremy and I combined. Like she's that and then some. So she meets up with her next guy that and then the movie kind of gets really weird. I kind of took a detour in this one. It's really strange. So meets up with Ethan. I forget the guy's name, but he used to be like 500 pounds and now he's like a solid 250. Looks really
Hmm.
good.
Okay.
Ethan Stupley, that's his name. And she she and he hop on a train and there's like a guy who's playing a refugee on the train.
Yeah.
But
Which, like, why was that train door open? Like, open up the train door so that so that when the people escaping can that is some that is some movie
really
level
odd.
plot device right there.
Yeah, there was like this really weird thing where they get on the train and there's Arabic refugees and only one of them is an actor, the other ones are actually refugees. Did I read that right?
That's what he said. It could be a
Yeah.
double ploy.
Right. And the train gets stopped by Russians, I guess, who had like a
Or I
military
think they're
base
in
set up.
Crimea.
I, I don't know. They were in like Eastern Europe somewhere, I suppose.
They get stopped by white people who aren't Americans.
There's a lot of those. And I think they were Russian. We'll go with Russians. Gary's his name. And in IMDb, it shows him as "Shut the fuck up, Gary" as his character's name, and he kills the Syrian refugee after they get pulled over. And do you pull over a train? Get stopped, and he
Yeah,
takes off
pull
running.
over.
Yeah,
Just runs off the tracks into the dirt.
and he runs away. So it's Betty Gilpin, and she meets up with the last character, the old guy, the only other guy that escaped. And what did they do? Did they let them go? I can't. Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
So
they spend some time convincing them that they're
yeah,
Americans, and then someone from the American embassy comes and starts driving them.
yeah, and Betty figures out that he's one of the bad guys, and just straight up, she like slowly turns in the passenger seat and kicks him in the face with both feet. It
Yeah,
was delightful.
and just pushes them out of the car.
Yeah. Pushes him on the car and runs him over, runs his head over with the tires. And it turns out that Gary is in the trunk with a knife in his head. So, and I think we have two main scenes left. So, do you want to take us to the bunker?
Yeah, although we should go over. There was a weird like when they pull over and like find Gary in the trunk. Do you remember the
Uh-huh.
story about the jackrabbit?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they take the story of the tortoise and the hare and they add an addendum to it. For one thing, the rabbit is now a jackrabbit. Not sure what the difference is. I'm pretty sure it's still a rabbit. But then the turtle is at home telling all the baby turtles how he won, and the jackrabbit comes in, kicks in the door of the turtle's house, and kills the turtle and all of his children, and then eats his dinner.
Yep.
And the moral of the story is the jackrabbit always wins.
Yep.
And the best line is Don looks at her and says, "Your mama told you that story?"
And his
And
question to her is, "So are you the jackrabbit?" which I thought was a
That's
nice
what we all
touch.
had to find out. Are you the jackrabbit?
Yep.
Are you
And
going to stomp in a door and murder someone's family because they beat you in a foot race?
that's what I ask myself in the mirror every day. Are you the jackrabbit?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a point to that or if they just wanted to bother me for a while.
Yeah, that was there was like 3 points in this where if they would have cut it or shortened it,
Hmm.
then I could have really gotten on board with this. So
Yeah. The so I think the next big scene is when they're going to the to kind of take the fight to the liberal elites
yeah,
and who at this point know they're being picked off.
yeah,
You know, they didn't hear back from what's his name, the guy who was doing the embassy drive.
yep,
And so they're all holed up in the kind of an underground bunker. They've got this guy who was a military guy on movies who was advising them.
yep.
And so they've got like tripwires and everything, but for some reason they're still going out to pee alone, which is how one guy gets his throat cut.
Yeah, that's Dennis Reynolds. It's Always Sunny. No? You never seen it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh man, you're missing out. All right, so Dennis gets murdered, and Don and Betty Gilpin's character head into the bunker to straight up murder everyone. And there's a moment there where she's about to kill the one female in there, and Don's trying to
Yeah.
stop her, and Betty looks at her like, "Would you like me to take mercy on you because you're a female?" She's like, "No, because equality and such," and then caps her, which is wonderful. There is a little bit on the radio there where the main elitist is trying to convince our main character that Don is with them,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of like, and we never find out if he really was or wasn't, because even at
I
the
mean,
end when they
I
meet
think
up,
he was because he tried to
yeah,
shoot her. Like,
right,
I mean, he didn't like she had the draw on him, and he just saw her kill like seven people without getting so much as a scratch,
yeah.
and he's gonna try and draw on her. That's classic like bad guy behavior.
Right, and how did he get the how did he get to the camp? So, ooh, that's another thing. Were the Russians in on it? Because he was just chilling at that camp. Did they maybe chip the Russians off a little scratch just in case anyone made it that far?
Oh yeah, the Russians were definitely in on it at some level because you don't just hand off detainees to the American embassy without looking at someone's you know diplomatic papers.
Right. Huh.
Especially if you're Russia. I'm pretty sure they check those guys pretty thoroughly to make sure they don't want to poison them.
Yeah, and they probably waterboarded them a bit first
Uh,
beforehand.
one thing I think we should probably throw in is during all of these scenes we're describing, there's always like a couple minutes of downtime where the elites are having these sort of Tumblr-esque conversations.
Hmm.
The the old couple in the gas station, the man slips up and calls African Americans black people, and
Yeah.
she's like, I think the nomenclature is African American, and he says, no, it's okay to call them black again, and she's like, where'd you hear that at? Well, NPR, and NPR is run by who? White people. And in the bunker, I think one of them says something about one of the guys went to Haiti to help,
Uh-huh.
and he apparently got a girl pregnant, and they get in this big discussion over whether or not over whether or not it was okay for him to do that, and then at the end they all agree that Haiti is a downtrodden area that deserves our help
Yeah.
and understanding.
And there's another moment where we start to learn a little bit more about why all of these people were captured, and it's because they were on Twitter disagreeing with it was the main character Hillary Swank.
Mhm.
What exactly did she do she was saying that there should be a hunt, right? And the text got leaked.
Yeah, well, I think the idea is that the text that leaked was a joke,
Yeah.
but but like a group of people on the internet took it to be real,
Yeah.
and so they started like throwing all these accusations at people, specifically Hillary Swank, because she was the one that had the text.
Uh-huh.
And then they all lost their jobs. They basically got conservative Me Too'd, I guess would be a way to put it.
Yep.
Or canceled. They got canceled. Yeah, they got canceled. And basically in revenge they made the conspiracy come true.
Yeah.
But they had a really good scene at the end where Hillary Swank is telling Crystal, and this is your guy's fault. You accused us of hunting people for sport. And she's like, but you are hunting people for sport.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, I wasn't then. You made it true. I don't have a manor. And she's like, I mean, we're in your house. It's not a manor. It's a house.
Yeah. I like when they're selecting who they're gonna hunt, and they come across a black guy who was saying the same things everyone else was, and as soon as they come to the slide, everyone's like, "No, we can't do that. Not in this day."
And then debating over whether or not it's racist if they're not diverse enough.
Yeah. Is it racist if we don't hunt him? Oh, it's so good. They didn't go too far one way or the other, but they went far. You know what I mean? Like, I love that everyone was a target, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and one thing I think we did skip over is they spend a lot of the movie kind of making fun of the like the guy from Orlando has like stupid tattoos and he's obviously an idiot.
Yeah.
And then there's the the guy on the phone with 911 is not handling things well. He's got 7 guns, but he's obviously doesn't know how to do his own hunting, or he would have been able to sneak around a bit more. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a big game hunter, but he can't seem to make his way around the woods.
Right.
And all the conservatives are just idiots when they get a hold of those guns. None of them use them correctly. None of them actually use the weapons that they were provided to protect themselves.
Yeah.
The only character that's even competent doesn't actually go and pick up the assault guns. She only picks up the guns for people that she, kills with the pine cone from the side or whatever she does.
Yeah. The guy, as you said earlier, running with 2 assault rifles in his hand, just running at the snipers is a full example.
If you've ever tried to fire a gun, 2 at a time while moving is not. You should just leave that up to Duke Nukem.
Yeah, you can do that with like 2 22 gauge pistols. But if you wanted to do that with
I would be curious how many people, if you just gave them 2 20 gauge pistols, could hit a target while they were moving.
Oh, hit a target? No, absolutely not. I thought you were just saying just physically be able to because of the kickback. I mean, that dude trying to run with both of those guns is just. We went 2 different directions. You were saying for accuracy. I was just saying I don't think that dude would have the physical strength to be able to handle that.
See, well, yeah, because in my opinion, gun control is hitting your target.
Yeah.
But just in terms of kickback, I think you could there are fully automatic guns where the kickback it's well balanced, so the gun is harder to aim while it's not being fired than when it's fired. It's like forward weighted, so when you shoot it, it's a bit easier to control.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he took the time to make those checks before he started running through a clearing towards a covered sniper.
I'm gonna go with he did not. It would be my educated.
They didn't have a scene where he carefully adjusted the trigger and sighted the rifles.
Yeah, there was a 25-minute scene where they all picked the guns that were best suited for their body types, and the sights that were adjusted perfectly for them. No, but you are from the South, so I'll defer to you on that.
Okay, that's bigoted, and I approve.
It's in the spirit. So after the bunker, to get back to that, after our little detour, She Betty Gilpin finally goes to Hilary Swank's house, and there's this really badass fight scene. But Hilary Swank's just making grilled cheese when she gets there, and they're just kind of there's a little bit more, just chit chatting, and then they just beat the Christ out of each other for what seemed like 10 minutes.
Yeah, can we address the fact that she was planning on having grilled cheese and champagne? Like, that's a stupid combination.
It was.
I do approve of her use of brie, though. If you have a chance to use brie instead of cheddar, go for the brie. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
It melts really well.
It seemed like she was using like high class bread and cheese, so I didn't see too much of a problem with it. Because if you have like craft singles and Wonder Bread, then you just crack a beer. But if you have like artisanal breads with
You go for a Miller High Life.
yeah, Sam Adams,
Boston Lager and a grilled cheese. There we go.
So what did you think? Yeah, absolutely. My goodness. What did you think of the fight scene?
I thought it dragged on for a really long time, and it wasn't done well enough to be enjoyable.
How so?
I just didn't. I mean, the hand-to-hand combat was just bad. Like the chokehold was like WCW fighting, but it was halfway between like a '90s action movie and WCW.
Okay. The way it felt to me was that they were just kind of having at it. Like whenever you're in a fight, it's never like the movies. It's always just like gritty, and you just throw whatever you can at the other person. And that's what it felt like to me. Even though they were both moderately trained, Hilary Swank, they show a little clip of her like boxer sizing or some bullshit. And they reveal that Betty Gilpin was like an ex-soldier, so it all starts to make sense.
Yeah, you gotta love that explanation of like, oh, I was in the military, therefore I'm a Navy SEAL with a black belt in Taijutsu. Like
huge cans. I mean,
most people who exit the military have never been in combat.
Yeah,
and of those, almost none of them have ever thrown a punch in self-defense in combat because the military uses guns.
Right.
They're very effective.
Yeah.
No one's ever been... I'm going to say almost no one has been punched to death by a Navy SEAL.
No. That brings me back. Do you remember when we did that 6 Underground review and the dude's trying to knock the other guy out by punching him in the face?
Yeah.
And it's just like... It doesn't work with one punch, and he's just punching the guy endlessly. That's what it would be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, trying to knock someone unconscious, like to settle them down, is very movie-like. I mean, a lot of times people will die the same time they go unconscious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible to knock someone out, but it is impossible to do it consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at MMA fights. Most of the time, when those guys go out, they're still moving.
Yeah.
And then they wake up and they think they won the fight.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's their head hitting that floor that knocks them out. Yeah. Like they'll get their bell rung, fall back, and slam their head because it's just 2x4s under that ring, and they just slam their head, and that's what puts them out. So. Yeah,
but I have to disagree with you that the fight felt gritty and real. Mm-hmm. To me, it felt really sloppily choreographed and not real.
All right, so would you recommend The Hunt?
Yeah, it's not often you have a movie that kind of goes over political subjects, but does it in a fair and interesting way.
Yep.
I mean, lots of TV shows bring up issues, but they always have a slant to them that kind of removes from the enjoyment of the show for me. Even if I agree with it, I still think I'm being preached to.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a solid B movie, and there are some lulls, but the peaks outweigh the valleys, and I just had a good time. I sometimes I go to the movie theater and I just start to get bored at points. And this one I was just pretty entertained. Just they weren't afraid of making fun of anyone, and they made fun of everyone. So have at it. More people do this, please. It doesn't have to all be about murder and stuff, but if you're gonna crack jokes on one side, crack jokes on the other side. It's fine. I love it. So more comedy in the world, please. There's enough going on. We need humor and more of this. And yeah, and I would say even with our review, it's still worth the watch. It's still fun.
Yeah.
So
Even though we spoiled every single plot point, you should still watch it.
yeah, absolutely. It's still. I mean, I'm gonna probably rewatch it. I've watched it twice. So once in the theater, once as a follow up. Once Jeremy saw it, and we're like, yeah, let's talk about it.